Mangwana ni mwalelepo vukenjani klekwas vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show that remains your portal into Africa's most potent stories. You are joined by Ashwin Mberi as we get into our week where Mike Sichula will be swinging in from Zambia, Lusaka to deliver the Zambia Report. But prior to that, these are some of the stories we'll be looking at. Ghana summons South African envoy over xenophobic attacks on migrants. Tanzania inquiry confirms 518 deaths in election violence. Kemi Seba detained in South Africa amid international legal pressure. William Ruto faces backlash after remarks on Nigerian English. And Eswatini marks King Mswati III's 40-year reign amid mixed reactions. DSTV 285, GOTV 25, oneup2.com, Network Media Hub, and NTVAFRIKA.MY.NA are precisely where you can watch the show. My name is Ashwin Mberi. Top stories shortly.
Namibia is a land of movement, with waves that never stop reaching forward. Here, adventure is not something we search for. It is something we are born into. In every corner of this country, creativity rises, from artists, from athletes, from dreamers. And when the world comes to explore Namibia, they discover something extraordinary. Because when sport moves people, creativity moves ideas, and tourism moves the world toward us. Something powerful happens. A platform where movement meets imagination, where industries connect, where opportunity grows, where Namibia's next chapter begins. Welcome to the Creative Sport Tourism Expo. Exhibit, partner, experience. Creative sport tourism.
Let's get into our top stories. Ghana summoned South Africa's top envoy following reported acts of intimidation and harassment against its citizens and other African migrants in South Africa. The move follows circulation of video clips online showing vigilante groups confronting and attacking individuals they suspected to be in the country illegally, including a Ghanaian man questioned over his legal status. Xenophobia has long been a recurring issue in South Africa, occasionally escalating into deadly violence. Ghanaian officials confirmed they had met the man featured in the footage and extended support while urging their nationals abroad to remain law-abiding. Nigeria has also advised its citizens in South Africa to exercise caution after protests in cities such as Cape Town, Durban, and East London turned violent, involving looting, property damage, and injuries. Ghana's Foreign Affairs Ministry formally protested to Acting High Commissioner Thando Dalamba, citing incidents that undermine dignity and rights. South African officials, including Ronald Lamola and Feroz Kachalia, have condemned the actions and pledged the investigation into the incidents. Now, Ghana's Foreign Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa had a speech and he said, "I do hope this will be the last round of xenophobic attacks that we'll be seeing in South Africa." Here he is in his own words.
We continue to believe in Pan-Africanism and we continue to believe that it is only when Africa unites that Africa's full potential will be realized, as our founder, the Osagefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, said. So it is really regrettable that at this time, when we've won such a huge victory at the United Nations, the Global South has come together, all Africans, people of African descent have come together, 123 countries sending a clear message against the transatlantic enslavement of our forebears, that in this modern era, we will see such hatred, such xenophobia against each other, against Africans. It is totally unacceptable, it is condemnable, and we will do everything as a government to protect our nationals and to make sure that we demand from the South African government to protect our citizens and to keep them safe, because they owe them that duty of care. Just as we will continue to make sure that all South Africans living in Ghana are safe, are protected, and we will not encourage any reprisal attack. We will condemn it, and we will not even contemplate it. And we know that Ghanaians are very welcoming, very hospitable, very peace-loving people, and they will not do that. So I do hope that this will be the last round of xenophobic attack that we will be seeing in South Africa.
Now, a Tanzanian Commission of Inquiry has confirmed that 518 people were killed during violence linked to the October 29, 2025 general election. The Independent Commission of Inquiry, led by Mohammed Chande Othman, reported that men made up the majority of victims but did not assign responsibility for the killings, recommending further investigations. This marks the first official figure released by authorities following earlier claims by human rights groups and opposition parties that security forces were responsible for thousands of deaths among anti-government protesters. President Samia Suluhu Hassan defended the actions of security agencies, stating they prevented the country from descending into anarchy. She announced the formation of a commission for national reconciliation aimed at restoring trust, unity, and harmony. The reconciliation initiative had initially been planned within the first 100 days following the election, but was delayed due to unrest. The commission's findings now form part of broader efforts to address the aftermath of the election violence and stabilize the national environment. Now, activist Kemi Seba is in detention in South Africa following his arrest while allegedly attempting to leave for Europe via Zimbabwe. The 45-year-old born Stelio Gilles Robert Kapo Chichi is wanted in Benin for inciting rebellion linked to a failed coup attempt in December 2025. Known for opposing French influence in Africa, Seba has faced multiple arrests across countries for various offenses, including inciting hatred. His activism includes campaigns against the CFA franc and criticism of France's role in African economies. Authorities in South Africa stated he is also a wanted fugitive in France and Benin, with extradition processes underway. His arrest followed a sting operation in Pretoria, where he had reportedly overstayed his visa. Benin has confirmed preparations for an extradition request, while allegations also include money laundering. Seba has not commented on the charges, though associates have dismissed them. His prominence has grown alongside political shifts in West Africa, particularly in countries distancing themselves from French influence. Now, Kenya's President William Ruto has faced some significant criticism, and this is after suggesting Nigerian accented English was difficult to understand and required translation. Speaking to Kenyans in Italy, Ruto stated that Kenya speaks some of the best English globally, contrasting it with Nigerian speech patterns. Here is William Ruto giving that speech.
Kenyans, our education is good. Our English is good. Yes, we speak some of the best English in the world. Yeah, that is true. If you listen to a Nigerian speaking, you don't know what you need a translator, even when they are speaking English, Ama. So we've some of the best human capital anywhere in the world, and we just need to sharpen it with more training.
Now, his comments understandably triggered backlash on social media, with critics accusing him of demeaning a fellow African nation. Zimbabwean journalist Hopo Chinono responded that English is a colonial language and not a measure of intelligence or progress. Both Kenya and Nigeria use English as an official language, shaped by distinct linguistic influences from indigenous languages, including Nigeria's more than 500 languages and Kenya's Bantu, Nilotic, and Cushitic mix. Now, Ruto defended Kenya's education system, attributing strong English proficiency to it, while his remarks drew laughter during the address. Critics, including former Nigerian Senator Shehu Sani, highlighted Nigeria's literary achievements, referencing Wole Soyinka, Chinua Achebe, and Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Online exchanges between Kenyans and Nigerians remain frequent, often tied to economic, cultural, and political comparisons across platforms. Why can't we all just get along? Now, in the last of our top stories, Eswatini celebrated King Mswati III's 40 years on the throne with large public festivities, including marching bands, choirs, and national displays of pride. The monarch, who also marked his 58th birthday, addressed crowds urging unity and national resilience. Supporters praised his leadership, citing developments such as free schooling introduced in 2022 and mobile clinics launched the following year. Now, citizens like Shabusiswa Sibambo highlighted pride in cultural identity, while others credited agricultural support programs for improved livelihoods. However, critics pointed to the king's lavish lifestyle, including spending on royal upkeep, as a burden on a population where a significant portion lives below the poverty line. Government allocations, including an additional $3 million this month, have intensified scrutiny. Past protests in 2021 reflected frustrations over inequality and were met with force. Opposition leader Wandile Dludlu criticized what he described as wasteful spending, raising concerns over poverty, inequality, and health challenges in Eswatini. Those have been our top stories on Africa Good Morning. After the break, Mike Sichula is going to be joining us as he is in Lusaka, Zambia, telling us what's happening that side, particularly the story that has been all over social media, all over TV, and all sorts of traditional media. Edgar Lungu died last year in June. He has not been buried. The saga continues. Mike Sichula with the details after the weather. All right, Mike Sichula gets straight into it. Edgar Lungu, the saga. How are Zambians responding?
Yeah, quite a sad state of affairs. Like you said, Mr. Lungu died in June last year, and the expectation of many people was that by now he should have been buried. However, the story has remained saddening, and it has divided the nation, where some are saying he must be buried in Zambia, then others are saying let the government of Zambia allow the Lungu family to do what they want to do in terms of burying their beloved husband, father, uncle, and in South Africa. But the state of affairs, like what happened over the weekend, the only issue that came out from the Attorney General, Mr. Kaliro Kabesha, in his second address to the nation, which was broadcast on national broadcaster ZNBC, he brought out something striking, saying that President Hakainde Hichilema has not refused to back off from presiding or being the main guest at the funeral of Dr. Lungu if it will be held in Lusaka. This is something that has been one of the contentious issues that has been demanded by the Lungu family, saying that one of his wishes was that Mr. Hichilema should not be anywhere near his casket if he should be buried in Zambia, as the custom of the Zambian constitution. But this is a statement that is coming from the Attorney General, and most people are still doubtful if really the president has now decided to say, okay, let me stay away from the funeral, as the family is demanding. This is a statement, again, instead of it being welcomed by many Zambians, it has again attracted division from many players. Some of them are saying, unless if it is said by Mr. Hakainde Hichilema himself and not through his Attorney General. So, and also the Lungu family has not responded to the second statement issued by the Attorney General, which brought out the aspect that Mr. Hakainde Hichilema is ready to stay away from the funeral. They have not responded to that, and we are hoping that maybe this week they are likely going to respond. And if they respond, maybe in the background, discussions are going to start so that Zambians can be told as to when exactly the remains of Mr. Lungu can be repatriated and buried in Zambia. So that is the state of affairs. But all in all, the delay to bury Mr. Lungu has divided the nation. Everything, when you go online, the divisions, you can clearly see it, that there's a lot of division and there's no unity in the country, because people are saying this and that depending on how they feel. Then my second story, the Zambian government has suspended the Tazama oil pipeline for the next 6 months. So this decision follows the government's declaration of fuel supply situation in the country as an emergency due to rising global oil prices and disruption in the supply chain. So this was announced to the public by Chief Government Spokesperson Mr. Cornelius Mwitwa. He says the suspension will run from April to September 2026. Then the integration of the rehabilitation and upgrade of the existing Tazama pipeline into the new Tazama multi-purpose pipeline is expected to be the many core business that will be happening behind the scene following this suspension. Then he also indicated that this decision was agreed upon between Zambia and Tanzania to ensure a stable supply of petroleum products in Zambia. So people are hoping that with this suspension, the supply chain of fuel is not going to be affected, because the Tazama pipeline was established during the first republic of Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. Then in my third story, the move, the Zambian government has finally lifted a ban on night traveling for public service buses. So this was imposed during the reign of the Patriotic Front administration. So the background to this is that the country experienced a number of fatal traffic accidents, which were mainly occurring involving public service buses. So because of that, there was a demand by many stakeholders that there should be a ban of public service buses moving at night. So now this has been lifted. According to the minister in the picture there, Mr. Frank Tahari, the Minister of Transport and Logistics, he says the move has been made possible because of notable improvements in the country in terms of road infrastructure. So the government has stated that authorities will implement enhanced road safety measures aimed at minimizing accidents following the reintroduction of night ban, night traveling for long distance operators. So the measure will also include stiff enforcement of speed limits and globe GPS to monitor vehicle movements. So stakeholders again are hoping that what caused the ban should not be repeated once this ban has been lifted. Then lastly, in sports, Fashion Sakala, who is based in the Saudi Professional League, has begun to attract interest from European countries. So this comes as his contract in Saudi Arabia nears to an end. So Fashion Sakala, who is the Chiporoporo captain, has been keen to move back to Europe, where he was before he switched to the Saudi Pro League. So he has been keen to go back to Europe, but one of these conditions, according to his agent, is that he must be guaranteed of playing time to play in the first 90 minutes for the team that may be interested to him. Details as to where he's going, those details have not been availed, but what they have just indicated is that he has attracted a lot of interest from European countries. That's all I had from the Zambia Report. This is Mike Sichula, Africa. Good morning to our dear viewers.
Many thanks, Mr. Sichula, for delivering that very comprehensive Zambia report. And of course, should anything transpire within the week, we will be looking forward to getting an update on all those stories, but particularly on the Edgar Lungu story. For now, this is still Africa Good Morning. Let's have a look at the economic indicators as we say goodbye on DSTV 285, GOTV 25, 1up2.com, NTVAFRIKA.MY.NA. My name is Ashwin Berry. Tomorrow is the Zimbabwe Report with Talent Gore and, of course, the stories from broader Africa. Swera Zwakanaka.